Namaste, welcome everyone. We are back live for Pandemonium to Pantomime. I got really inspired today to come back live after a long time, definitely a long time for interviews. I got really inspired by our brother. You've seen him here before, Randall Kaiser, and I saw a post that he put up about the events that are going on at the minute, and it just really inspired me. It's like straight away, see if we could get in and do a live stream, and he was straight in for it. So amazing, we got it together in a few hours. So my name, commercially known as Martin McNichol, spiritually known as Ma'at Ananda. Uh, if you're watching this video, you're probably on the consciousness journey, sovereignty journey, and excited to share a very unique and interesting take that Randall has of the events that's going on at the moment. You'll probably remember a few years ago that I was talking about the savior complex and the Messiah thing that was going on, and now it's come full circle. And what Randall has shared about it is just amazing. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring him in. He's at a special location in Calgary, and I'd like to welcome our brother Randall of the Dow Energy Foundation. Welcome, brother.
Hello, my friend. Welcome to you. I'm just outside the church. I don't know if you can see it over my shoulder there or not,
Yeah.
but I thought it would be a fitting place. I wandered into that last Easter kind of accidentally, actually. I didn't plan it or anything, and they were right in the beginning of a Easter service, so I thought it fitting for this video today, and everybody will kind of get it as we roll into it. But you know, I'm not here to I'm not here to be make fun of any human story in this world, which is what we're living in. The human construct is the world. Mother Nature is heaven, and that's the plane of existence that we live on. And we can use our imagination, our intuition, or the mind of God, or all three, and add some logic and come up with some pretty good stories. But the story that's coming out from the one world government these days, which it is, it's just one world government with a bunch of players, is extremely satirical and blasphemous to most people that consider Jesus Christ an honor to have read about. Okay, I'm not going to even say that that story is 100% truth or anything, but my God, the man was a healer. He was a natural healer. He loved all mankind. He told us so many things, and whether it was a story or an actual man doesn't matter. It's beautiful. So the blasphemy that's coming from right in our face this year from the one world order, I'll call it, because it is. Anybody that wants to say that there's good guys and bad guys in at that level or anything, come on, folks. Like really, they're all goofs. They're all morons. And if we completely understand that the word moron simply means fool, I'm really not judging them. I'm just saying, really, really, Donald Christ, really, Pontius Biden? Really, Stormy, the prostitute? Let's get into it, Martin. Right with that.
So you just dropped it. You just dropped it there. It was like, so you put a post up in the Telegram group the other day, and you just what you've just shared, and you expanded a bit, and I was like, oh my god, boom! He's just absolutely nailed it. And like what I really love about you is that, like, I think you're the alternative of the alternative news, but you're mixed with this like deep universal wisdom and like real insight, and we connect in a lot of things, numerology, etymology, and words, and the use of words and language. But I just thought, wow, he's just absolutely nailed this, because uh, I'm sure any of you watching now, I suppose maybe some haven't, but you have see what is going on at the moment. um, it's a pantomime. It's a pantomime. We've come from the pandemonium, and we've come into the pantomime now. And I just thought you really nailed it when you this time of Easter, this prophesized Messiah, this Savior, now being symbolically arraigned is the word that they use, but brought through the streets, all of the show, and now let's say, I know you were asking the question, was this going to happen? Is it going to be like this symbolic crucifixion and all of this sort of thing? I was just like, wow, it was amazing. I haven't heard anyone else talking about this. And what had you this in mind before, or what kind of brought this to you, this kind of parallel with the Christ story and this timing and everything that's going on?
Oh, it's just too obvious. And before before I go into it much further, you'll notice that I wore a black because I don't know if we're going to have to mourn this man if he gets hung up on a cross, or if they throw him against the One World Trade Center uh, energy collection unit. Which, if people want to know what that's about, and any other silicon tower in your city, you can go back to my YouTube channel where I talk about those ridiculous moronic things too, because that's what they are. They're collecting etheric energy generated by a resonating, vibrating thing that we call the sun, moving particles of matter through the ether, hitting up against this silicon, and poof. I mean, God, it's just everything to me is just too obvious anymore, and I don't know why, Martin. And I get called arrogant, I get called all kinds of, I don't give a shit anymore. I never you know, like, if you want to keep in the dream spell of the one world government that controls the minds of the masses, it's up to you. I don't care. Like, whatever level you choose. But before we go on and I get ranting anymore, please share with me what you came up with when it came to the word pandemonium, because that was
Yes.
just priceless, brother. I love that. This morning, Martin shared this quick thing with me.
Yes, and it only came to me as I was writing it to do this. So, over the last while, I've become to call what we were calling that other one. I'm calling it the pandemonium. It was a pandemonium. It was so the definition of pandemonium is like chaos, wild. And so, whenever I was writing down this word pandemonium, you'll see it on the screen now. It just jumped out of me. What I couldn't see before is right in the middle, demon, and like two, three-letter words on either side of demon, which was just amazing. So I was like, because this is what me and Rant were always into this stuff, like individually, and we share it with each other, go into the etymology of words. So I was like, okay, I have to go do this. So I checked out pan. I knew kind of what pan was, and that's kind of like this one word. It's like this overarching, this complete, this overarching thing. Pan. So when you have pan before something, that's like something that's overreaching. Uh, IUM, I'm going to do demon last because that's the most interesting. So the IUM was around metals, which is very interesting if you think about metals in the everywhere, including our vessels. But IUM became in the periodic table where they started using helium, barium, all of these things. It was these IUM, and then demon. So when you say the word demon, most people will know the standard definition of demon. And this thing that really connects me and Randall, and he's already said it, is about this notion of good versus evil, this like the good guys, the bad guys. And we just don't subscribe to that because it doesn't fit with this universal awareness. But so, demon, you'll have all the definitions in the etymology of demon, the evil one, all of that. But if you go right down to the bottom, like so many times, in etymology, you find that the word is now the opposite of what it originally meant. So demon came from daemon, which was a positive spirit. It was like a guiding light. It was like what we would call a spirit guide or something now. And a very famous uh, Socrates, the Greek, I think Greek philosopher, he was attributed with this daemon, and it was like a positive voice, like a guiding spirit was the daemon, and then it became the demon. So everything gets flipped, everything is inverted. So many times the words, and especially the English language, I'm sure in others as well, but the words as we use them now are literally the opposite of what they originally meant. So they get inverted. So we are, using our language against each other, against ourselves unknowingly. So that was just amazing. I had fun with that today.
Well,
Pandemonium.
just to add one more to that one is the word Satan, okay? Which, a lot of the warriors out there, and I'm not running anybody down. Listen to me when I say this. Like, I don't even think the one world order is a bunch of bad guys, okay? They're doing their best in a in a situation to try and maintain some kind of order among humans who are, lean towards the crazy side themselves. Okay, so don't get me wrong. The people that talk about satanic Vatican and satanic culture and stuff like that. I mean, I giggle because really, the etymology, not just English etymology, but now we're talking the Aramaic language that our friend, if you want to call him that, Jesus Christ spoke when he wandered around on the earth, which could or could be the truth. We don't know. But at the very least, if you refer to the word Satan there, all you come up with is crazy thoughts. It doesn't say demon or bad guy or anything, it's just crazy thoughts. So, yes, there's some pretty crazy thoughts that are running the world. So, is Satan running the world? Crazy thoughts are running the world, yes. One of those crazy thoughts is what we started talking about here that I want to just rant on a wee little bit more because I mean the obvious situation. It's just so blatant. What was her name? Sidney Powell said a couple of years ago, "We're going to release the Kraken." Well, what's the Kraken? The biggest story ever told in the ocean, on the seas, on the water, right? So really, they released the Kraken, all right, and it's culminated over all those years to this point. And it'll shift again. Like I say, I don't know if they're gonna, crucify Donald or not. I don't know. I mean, the poor guy. I wouldn't wish crucifixion on anybody. But the Stormy Daniels thing. My God, forgive that woman. Now go and sin no more. Here's some money.
No,
Like I
unbelievable.
mean, that part just kills me, or not kills me. It makes me laugh so loud because I think of Stormy Daniels and her book that referred to some what do they call that, Botox. But I won't go any further than that. Okay, everybody else can do their own freaking research when it comes to how she exposed Donald's Botox. Okay, but this prostitute was forgiven by Donald by doling out, I think it was 130,000. Wow, 13. Isn't that a cool number to choose? They just keep pushing it in your face, the obviousness. Now go and sin no more. What is sin? Sin, again, another word that defined in etymology and everywhere else is missing the mark. So, you know, don't miss the mark next time, Stormy. Don't write that part in your book, like, for Christ's sake. I mean, for Donald Christ's sake. Don't put that part into the book about Botox. Go and erase that part. Here's 130 pounds. I mean, it's so hilarious, brother. How anybody can't see it anymore is just beyond me. Like,
I mean, like I see patterns a lot, and they're very obvious to me. But that was not obvious to me. And when you said it, I was like, "Oh my god!" So you can't see what you can't see until you see it. And I was just like, the symbology, the timing, everything. I was just like, boom, 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 wow. And I mean, a lot of times I don't focus on those stories, but these ones, I would say unless you're living under a rock, you can't avoid it completely. And I don't think that we need to either. But just going back to those two things that you shared about the etymology is really important because let's say Satan and what was the other one that you said? Satan and sin, two S's. So both of those ones, they're quite hard for people to relate to, but missing the mark and crazy thoughts, everyone can relate to. It brings it home. It brings it back to, yes, I can have crazy thoughts. Yes, I miss the mark all the time. Whereas Satan is this, this demon again. I have to not use that word again. We both use it now. Now I've seen that. It's this evil thing. It's this bad one. It's this fearful thing. And missing the mark, it's not. You're not condemned. You've missed the mark. You get another shot. You go at it again. So it's like how language is used to control the masses, and English is so. I remember um, Paul. It was Paul, I think, actually gave a recommendation of a book about the etymology in English. I can't remember the name of it. It was very interesting. That book and how English language is used is unbelievable. It's the language of business for a reason as well. I think you could probably talk to a little bit about that probably.
Sure. I mean, you know, just the idea that sin or, you know, missing the mark is going, or, crazy thoughts is going to be rained down on by, some of these characters that talk their stories in these buildings, like that one, driving fear into the masses. Or, you know don't you ever try and do what Jesus Christ did, because you're you're gonna end up on a cross too. Like, the fear is just amazing, and how easily it can be programmed into the minds of people. And it is all about programming, there's no doubt about it. Like, you know some of you might out there obviously are aware that I was with a lovely, beautiful, stunningly beautiful woman for the last little while, and we got caught up in a story, okay, of twin flames and, astrological connections and all that beautiful stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I like this. This is awesome. I mean, I get to kiss a girl again. This is freaking cool. And yet, this the subconscious programming of all of us, me and her and everyone else included, is so deep that when you say, okay, let's do this together as twin flames, we are a exact match for each other, like, it's all that kind of stuff. Well, there's some subconscious programming in each of us that it's pretty damn hard to avoid. I mean, as masterful as we can be in our words, as what do they in the four agreements say? Um,
Be impeccable with your word.
with your words, there are times when we drop, and I mean, I'm just as sinful as anybody when it comes to that. Okay, but you know, it's to me. I know I went off on a sidetrack here for just a moment, but I wanted to say that, you know, it's a good story, the twin flame story. Don't get me wrong. Every story has its good and has its not so good, because there is no real good and bad. In, the principles of the Hermetic principles, we talk about good and lack of good, which eventually may get down to another end of the polar scale, but it's generally all about goodness, right? And a lack of it. But the in the category of relationships, is it necessary, or is it, what's the word our friend Andrea Grace, wonderful lady who speaks about this kind of stuff and relationships and whatnot, she's on the YouTube as well, but she called it, not necessary. um, is it required to be in a couple, as far as a man and a woman relationship, to rise, you know, call it transcend, call it ascend, whatever word you want, to talk about where we come into that oneness, that understanding of the great I am, which is I am becoming in my mind, not so much I am, but it's a beautiful place that we all want to be in, and that is directly connected to source. So, to finish this little segment off, I'd recommend the Marriage by Kabil Gibran when it comes to couples and when it comes to relationships, rather than the twin flame story, because it talks of the oak and the cypress, not, growing beside each other and loving each other, and it's about marriage, and it's about that divine union of a man and a woman. But let that man and let that woman develop their feminine gender principle within, and then see what happens. I mean, do I want a romantic relationship? Hell yeah. Like, is it crucial to my ascension or my transition or transcending or rising into that oneness that we all need to be conscious of and know that it exists, that unity, that love? Of course not. It's not necessary or required. Just in case, I'll end it there, because I just wanted to tap into that one.
It's
We've
important,
all
yeah.
got facts, and I'm
And
not
I
telling anybody what to do. I'm just sharing, okay?
I know very well we spoke about it, and we have some parallels because I've been with my beloved for the last 7 years, and you talk about, like, we talked about that twin flame stuff, and that kind of we set it aside as well because, like you said, story. Everything is story, and certain stories are beneficial for a time, and then you might set them aside and start a new story. So we had a lot of that. One thing I can say, no matter what the story, when you come together with someone that's going to reflect you and is going to show you parts of yourself very quickly, it is a huge challenge. And I mean, it's the most beautiful thing, and it's the most challenging thing ever did. So like we were together 7 years on the winter solstice, and it's a continuous journey. And I know on the equinox we had similar experiences, old patterns for me, old patterns of the masculine coming up, and it was just like witnessing. And like you say, like we do this work and we get into this flow, and then they see this like speaking for myself, see this old masculine pattern coming up, and I was like, really, like you're talking, really, that's showing up again. But again, what do? We just have to dust ourselves off. We missed the mark, and get going again. And I think that twin flame and soulmate stories and all of those things, they can be romanticized because like everyone at some level really wants that, and the truth of those experiences, from my experience, is very far removed from this romanticized version of what it is. And maybe that's another experience for someone else. I don't know, but and it's a story, and it's a beautiful story, and stories serve for a certain time, and then we take on our new story. And we're in the middle of this human story now that we started with, and we're coming into Easter time. So this would be called, I'm sure it's everywhere called Holy Thursday. I'm remembering my Irish, so this would be Holy Thursday, tomorrow Good Friday. um, and this pantomime. So we were talking about the pandemonium. So this pantomime is playing out now with this governed mind, which I love. That was a term that I inherited from you. This governed mind and all the trappings around it. This pantomime is playing out, and what I always feel with this, no matter what is going on, well, the bigger it is, the more distraction there is, the more that it's saying that there's something else that they don't want you to be looking at. There's something else going on very big, that all the attention is going towards what we're having a bit of a laugh about. Uh, but and behind, like I think you were sharing as well, it's like, all these players, they're playing a role, they're playing a part in a play. That's why it's a pantomime, and they're playing their role. And I feel they once they've finished playing their part, they take off the costume, they're back laughing their asses off, thinking this is fun, and look at all these in the audience taking it all in. Oh, look at that. I have to stay quiet for that one.
You may have to mute me for a second.
No, no, that's perfect. No, let's keep it on. How long does it go for? 12. Is it 12 bells? It must be 12 bells with you.
We are. It might keep going for a little while longer. They usually do a little, well, maybe they do the extra stuff in the evening. I'm not sure. But it just, the bell is tolling, okay, on this one world government. The people continue to wake up to the madness and the pandemonium. I just wanted to say, like, again, I'm not calling Donald out. I'm just saying truth is one thing, Martin, but honesty and integrity is another. So if you're telling the truth, Donald, that's okay. Everybody has their truth. But honesty and integrity would bring in more to the truth. Okay?
We totally planned
Or,
this. We totally planned this.
oh, we didn't plan the timing that exact, but
No,
I
that,
say
that's
truth.
that's something grander going on.
I'm sorry, I'm coughing a little bit too because I had a bit of a excuse me poisoning when I got back home because I shifted my water again, and I drink spring water, which has a different mineral content in it. My body was used to the other for 2 months, and it went, wait a minute here. So it
Really?
asked,
Wow.
yeah, which is I'll go on just one little second here because we don't want to risk anything on YouTube. But the logically, intuitively, and imaginatively speaking, okay, and from the mind of God, which is the combination of those three. If germ theory existed, we'd all be fucking dead. Okay, that's simple. So all the alternative media that's been scrambling and going over all of this stuff, who knows what's going on truly? Well, I think I do, but that's my opinion. It's all for naught if you just simplify it down to the fact that germ theory is a theory, and that terrain theory is a fact, and that fact of terrain theory is that we expel poisons or toxins or something that our body's not used to, like this water that I drank when I got home. Like it changes, and then our immune system adjusts. We are so perfect. Our bodies are so immensely, unbelievably perfect, just like Mother Earth. When we think that there's going to be some toxic release of chemicals into Ohio, and then like a couple days later kind of fades away from the news. Well, that's because Mother Nature took care of it. She's like us. Mother Earth is like us. Perfect. Getting rid of whatever it is that is in our bodies. If we think in terms of perfection, you know, it's just amazing. But that's kind of got off on another track again. I mean,
Not at
you know,
all. Not at all. That's we don't have any tracks. We just go where it goes. And this is important. This is very important because this is another thing that we both agree upon, and this is kind of the alternative. It's not really the alternative, but people like to focus on others because it tells a better story. It's like the victim, the all of these are they're so elusive. But the fact that if you just take it to the most simple, you cut your finger, what do you do to heal that? What sort of process do you go through to heal? Nothing. It just heals itself. And that process is the same no matter how small or how big. The only thing in belief is between it is our belief systems, our thoughts about it, and to some degree there are toxins. There's a lot of toxins, and these man-made toxins, these sins, these missing the mark that is created. There's no doubt about that. But our bodies and the earth, and this is something I totally agree with you, is that the earth is like so perfect, and like this idea that it's somehow that we can harm her. I'm not saying that there's things that we're doing that are like, just do whatever. It's going to happen, but earth is not in any danger. It's like when they put like she's in some um it's a real victim. They kind of victimize her, and she's like just this majestic, perfect being, and we're like these in a physical form. We're like these tiny little mosquitoes, little ants, just crawling around, playing her games, telling their stories, and she will be here forever and ever until she's not. And all those stories, again, there's agenda behind those stories, but you get it an alternative as well as from these other rascals they're telling their stories. You gotta have a laugh. It's good to have a laugh at it.
it is, and I mean, it's who you can get to believe your story. Like, and again, I'm not saying it's all bad. I mean, a big portion of the population believed the story that they'd be saved by Donald Trump if he quickly got this into them. And they still believe that. But it, oh, I had another thought there. Oh, yes, telling the story and getting belief. I woke up this morning and a new friend who may comment on this video too, because she's been commenting with some really conscious words on my video channel lately. She had posted a film. Okay, it's 16 minutes long. I usually watch it 1.5 times or a little faster. And please do that with me too, because I know I talk slow. But the film was The Emperor Had No Clothes. Okay, and what a beautiful little tale of fairy tale story, whatever, about two weavers who weaved a story. They didn't weave any clothes. They weaved a story into the minds of the king and the people he trusted until he got in his little coach and started traveling down the street with nothing on, because they weaved the story that his invisible clothes were the most incredible thing they'd ever seen. It's so simple, like the whole programming aspect of things and how we can just it's all about beliefs. Go ahead, brother.
I was just going to agree, and I think like the basis of hypnotism is along the same lines of this, and this mass hypnotism that we've had from the television and all of the propaganda, everything that's been going on. It's a form of hypnotism and you could see it like especially over the last few years, and I can speak directly to this program, and I've spoke about this before. Growing up in Northern Ireland, I know firsthand exactly what it's like to be programmed, to be completely conditioned to not know anything outside of your bubble. And I had to literally get outside that bubble to look back in and say, what the fuck? What was that? I like everything I thought was turned on its head once I got out of there. So I know what it's like. So again, I'm not judging. I'm not judging. We're having a laugh here because this is what we do. We have to, laughter and joy and fun and making light of sometimes challenging circumstances is the highest way the guides talk about it a lot. So I am making fun, but I'm not judging and I'm not like putting anyone down because I know what it's like to be completely and utterly programmed to the point where you don't know anything. It was for my whole life, literally my whole life until I left Northern Ireland and started reading books, started getting out and seeing what. And that on the world scale, you can see like what is possible, and we're seeing it. But also the pandemonium has woke up more people than all the light workers and all the gurus and all the, I'm sure of it. It has been a mass awakening as well as this, clicking the fingers for the hypnotism.
I wanna end this with that uh, eum, the metals. Okay, but just before we go to the end, because I don't want to go too long. People can, if they're really intrigued with what we're saying, the best way to do this is to listen to it again. It's not to just listen to it once, because there's a lot of information in this little short video. And honest to God, I don't want to call it all truth, but it's honest and it's integral and it's exposing, a lot of things. So the the thing I was thinking about when you were talking about our past, okay, and the programming that we grew up with, we're both got some Irish descent. And you mentioned something to me today that was really cute. And I mean, it, what it amounts to, uh, basically for me, is the idea that we all just dry up. Okay, we could live a lot longer life if we just hydrate. Okay, because hydration is the key. Water is the fountain of youth. All that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of different ways to look at that. But when we were young, or when I was young, case and a half of beer, no problem. Sometimes some whiskey to go along with it. On St. Patty's Day this year, I had 3 or 4 drinks. And the next day I woke up, I'm like, what the Sam hell happened here? Like I felt like shit after just a couple of drinks like that. Well, my body isn't used to that, for one thing, because I haven't put that much alcohol into it for the last few years. But my God, what happened? Well, it's a diuretic, you know? Simply put. So is soda, so is coffee. All of these things are diuretics that we're replacing water with in our diets. So we're dehydrating ourselves with these, ridiculous things. And oh, but I don't like the taste of water. Well, put a little lemon in it. Like honest to God, water is the gift of life. Yeah. And I mean, do I falter sometimes? Of course. Do I drink 33 gulps every morning and then go pee 3 or 4 times, 6, 7 times sometimes? Yes. I started that years ago, along with fasting and other things that I try and do to keep my body in prime condition because I'm only 62. I got another 40, 50 years of helping society and helping humanity. That's my goal. And that's what we are doing with our Dow Energy Foundation and our exposure of this moronic one world government idea, which is just foolish, Remember, I'm not calling it bad, just foolish, because unity and love are the answers. And honesty and integrity, those kind of things, you know?
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about the Dow Energy Foundation. You just dropped it in there, so tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I founded this organization in 2018. And in fact, before that, I had a different name on it, but we changed it to Dow Energy. I was thinking in terms of the abundant one's energy, which happens to say TAO, which happens to coincide with another beautiful book, along with the Kabbalion that I love, you know, the Hermes Trismegistus book, and other, you know, ancient books, as well as biblical books. Don't get me wrong, Bible is fine too. If you pick and choose, some of the stuff is a little crazy, but that's, oh, they missed the mark. Well, they can try again. You know, I forgive you, but you know, there's beautiful books. So Dow Energy Foundation is basically something that I co-created, okay? And it's based on my agricultural experience and my learning over my career of 30 some years of how to treat the land, the air, and the water lawfully, LAW. Or if you want to turn it around and say all, the air, the water, and the land, all. You know, whoops, sorry. The the career that I had led to the formation of this organization. And at first, it wasn't a nonprofit; it was a company that I was trying to attract funding,
I think
finance.
your finger might be over your mic, Randall. Maybe just move your hand a little.
Yeah, is that better?
There we go. That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So this organization and what we originally started with was the idea that it could be a, a company, you know, and have this natural food and natural uh, processes of, at that time it was mostly beef. I'm going to turn a little bit here. Uh-oh, what's that?
Look at that.
I'll switch my other hand for a little while. We don't need the church in the background all the time.
Yes.
So anyway, we started this organization years ago, or I did, and then added some directors and dropped directors as it became a nonprofit organization. We can just switch up to whoever wants to be part of it, and right now it's just myself and my one other director partner, Princess Christina, Empress Christina, Queen of Lithuania. You call it what you like. She's a royal family member, which, you know, you can look on my other videos to see that I deal with these people. And just like within the government ranks, there's good people in the royal ranks, good people at the United Nations ranks. You know, like they're just branding something as bad is silliness to me. But anyway, right now we have one, um, the Abundant Ones Energy Foundation. She has numerous companies as well, and I'm on the board of one or two of those. But she's on the board of the Dow Energy Foundation, and we are in the midst, as we have been for a long time, of getting funds through for projects. And when I say funds, I'm talking funds, okay? Not finance. That world of finance, that human construct world of finance and the credit system is slowly melting away. And that's the biggest thing that we'll end this video with whenever you're ready, brother. But
Yeah.
you know, we're Dow Energy Foundation is prepared, has been prepared for many, many years. And when we have these funds transferred into our account, I'm taking in an instrument either tomorrow or Monday, it might arrive directly, handing it to the bank based on assets from ancient times, not credit. And they need to accept it finally. Like it's time. They can't go on any longer with this charade at the banking level.
Wow. And so, yeah, for those who don't know, this is the world. We've gone through so many fields, but this is part of Randall's journey dealing with the how will we call it, the dissolving system, and really birthing the new system. So I wonder, just briefly, maybe for someone that doesn't know the difference in that, could you share quickly what is the difference in funding and finance to someone who don't, because someone might be hearing this for the first time and they don't know what that means. They haven't read your book. They're not sure on what that is. So could you share what's the difference in those two?
Well, um, finance is based on the banking system that exists without anything to back it, the credit based system, which completely shifted from any asset backing, gold and silver, in the 1970s to autographs and agreements. And I've said this many times on my videos in the past if anyone wants to look back, but an autograph from an authority, AU, autograph, authority, AU, on an agreement, AG, agreement, is all it takes to manifest. Okay, manifest being a piece of paper with that autograph and the contract written on it. Manifest, we talk about manifesting things out of thin air. Well, there's two ways to look at that word. So that manifest is all that it takes, okay, for one bank to send a message to another bank internationally in the legal jurisdiction realm and start a credit line, okay? A credit line. But in that process, if you're at the level of Donald Trump, which I pick on once in a while, but hey, it is what it is. Just be honest and integral about it, on Donald, and everything's fine. But your truth is not the truth of the credit system. When you pay an administration fee for these bankers to send that message, an MT-103 credit enhancement standalone credit instrument from one bank to the other so that you have credit to build another tower, an energy collection center, maybe. I don't know. What are you building, Donald?
That's it.
And that, and that part is what, so many people don't want to ask that question or even discuss it. When it comes to Donald Trump, how the hell do you think he got all this money for all these things that he built all over the world? How does any developer do that? Downtown Calgary, the same way. It's a credit line, okay? In the debt world, okay, we'll just go there for a minute because debt is an utter, complete nonsense illusion in the monetary world. There's nothing but abundance above the corporate, legal, limited, okay, limited LTD, the corporate governments, okay, they're all corporations under this New World Order government, Old World Order government, but that, that specific standby letter of credit that goes to some dummy who doesn't really realize that it's just credit is where debt occurs. And we're going to lead into the periodic tables here once again and say that take a look at secondary banking or a standby SB letter of credit to the dummy is, okay? The dummy being me. I did that my whole life. Go in and autograph. I just signed, okay? I didn't autograph at that time because I didn't realize the authenticity that I had, the pure power of the autograph over the signature, the mark of the beast being the signature. And when I finally woke up to it, and I was realized, and my friend Benjamin Mensa in Africa and I both were studying the periodic table at the time. SB, secondary banking. SB, standby letter of credit, not standalone letter of credit. Standby letter of credit is where debt occurs. What do you think the letters SB on the periodic tables refer to? Anti-money. Anti-money. In other words, debt. How ridiculous and how simple that one was to figure out. I mean, that one was too obvious for me years ago already, let alone having to put up with Donald Christ and Pontius Biden and Stormy Daniels, the prostitute. I mean, this is getting more blatantly obvious every single day. Germ theory. Like, really, people? It's right in front of us now. It's ready for you all to just rise up yourselves and connect with the oneness, the goodness, the love, the source energy, and say, I'm sovereign. I don't need government. Thank you very much. I love you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am. And I just want to just take this back full circle to the periodic table, something again that you brought my attention to. The AU and the AG. What are they in the periodic table for those who don't know?
AU being gold, AG being silver. It's that simple. Authority, an
Autographs, agreements,
authorized individual, AU, the gold.
gold and
On an
silver.
agreement, AG, the silver. We don't need gold and silver anymore. We've got this. The credit system. I mean, it took years to embed itself as deep as it is. Don't get me wrong. These people are patient and they're patiently planning ahead again. They know that there's something got to change because Bitcoin and all the other cryptocurrencies kind of buried their ass, okay? And I'm not supporting any one of them or anything like that, but the credit system is all controlled at the central bank level. You know, bankers and administrators and bureaucrats and everything else that are double checking, make sure this money goes the right direction, because otherwise, if it doesn't, we're going to quash our whole order. And, then people will really find out that the truth, and this is utter, bitter, unbelievable, undeniable truth of abundance exists. Not a limited story of, oh, we can only give this much to the people for their comfort. No, there's no limit. I work with the government, not government, but people within that realm of challenging the government here in Canada that talk about basic income. They write to me all the time. I write back to them. And they're on this kick of basic income. I said, why do you want to talk basic? Don't you realize what kind of potential there is to manifest money at the credit level, or to allow these asset-backed, unlimited, abundant accounts to come through and give comfort to every child of God on this heavenly plane of existence? Any story that's limiting, is ridiculous. It's complete, beyond moronic. Okay, that is where they're starting to cross the line into, you know, completely missing the mark and playing with people's minds. There is nothing but abundance. Doesn't matter. And that abundance needs to be shared. It's time. The people on the earth deserve their comfort, every single one, and everybody that has these beautiful projects that are beneficial to all. Not war, which is just simply economic demolition and reconstruction, using the soldiers, the young men, to blow things up and then rebuild them. And whoops, we had some collateral damage. That Afianchetto collateral damage is nasty stuff. And it happened in this little process too. And that kind of stuff is wrong, I'll say, because there is harm in that. Okay, so I'm not going to pin it on anybody and say that it's this guy or that guy that did that, but that kind of stuff is harmful, and we need to move beyond that very quickly. And of course, forgive. A lot of the people that did this to themselves did it to themselves. A lot of the people that are in these economic demolition uh, zones want to stand their ground instead of getting the hell out of the way. I'm not, again, it's not about blame. It's about everyone realizing reality beyond the limited corporate legal jurisdiction bar world.
Boom.
Let's drop the mic. I'm good.
So the mic is dropped. We're at 49 minutes, but I just want to just quickly ask you about, so just to finish that off, funding. So just a very quick definition of funding as opposed to what you were sharing there.
Well, funding is again, like it's chosen by the banking system with the credit system, right? Donald Trump gets funding. He pays an administration fee for it, but he gets funded. It's not finance where he has to pay it back. He pays an administration an upfront fee. Even in the Muslim world, they'll talk about it. They don't pay interest. They live in a world where it's we'll pay the banker administration fee, but that's it. I'm paying interest and usury, which is in the finance world, right? So hopefully that helps. I'm not sure.
I just wanted to finish that off in case anyone was waiting on that. So yes, we're on 49 minutes. I want to just honor your time and honor your hand as well, holding this phone all that time. Anything else you want to share with anyone who find their way to this beautiful conversation today, or anywhere you would like to send them? Your YouTube channel, of course, is one, which is probably
Sure.
one of the only few that I actually still watch because I love you,
Well,
brother.
yeah. I mean, everybody gets to choose. That's the beauty of life, Like whether we want to believe that we're ordered and told what to do, we still choose, So I'm just here to share, and that's my motto, just share, not tell anybody. I'm not telling you the truth about Donald Trump. You can decide whether that's truth or not. And Pontius, Pontius Biden, all their gang, and including, people are going to jump over onto the BRICS Union and Vladimir Putin. He's the savior. Is that going to be next? Really? Is he being honest and integral about the amount of gold that the bricks being gold with bricks? Is he going to be integral about how much exists on this heavenly plane of existence? Is he going to be integral about how much land exists on this heavenly plane of existence? My God. But anyway, I'm getting off. I wanted to keep it light, and I know these last couple minutes have probably been a little bit on the heavy side. So I adore you all. I love you all, and I love you, Martin, for inviting me on today. It's just beautiful to share, And whoever wants to share this, or great. If you don't, that's fine too. Do whatever you believe.
I'm just going to quickly before you go. I'm going to put on this artwork that you sent. This amazing artwork. I think it's Denisha and yourself. Yeah. Oh, let's see. We need to take this off. There we go. The Abundant Ones Energy Foundation is beautiful. AO. So I know you can't see it, but we got it on the screen there now. Beautiful artwork. And yes, so you can go to your YouTube channel, search Randall Kaiser. You can't miss him. He'll be on there. So he's a white hat some days.
We're still working on our website, but it'll be up shortly too. That chalice and stuff was a co-creation of Danusha and myself, which is our book as well.
Yeah.
We wrote a book together. Debt is an Illusion. Danusha is just priceless. I mean, worth her weight in gold, like every child of God is worth his weight and her weight in gold. But that little Dow Energy Foundation logo that we came up with was just today, and she just nailed it. I said, I want a T, but the top of the T is kind of showing like a torus design where there's abundance above, and then it flows through, and then it goes to the below, and it's as above, so below is such a powerful term when it comes to abundance. Everyone needs that. Who doesn't need it? Everyone deserves it, and I'll use that word. A lot of people don't like the word deserve. Of course, we deserve our comfort. When there's abundance, when there's nothing but, of course we deserve our abundance. So, yeah, it's a nice little logo, I think. And I mean, the chalice, the water, it's really fun. And the TAO,
Beautiful,
the
amazing.
abundant
I
one.
didn't. I did it very quickly before we go on, and I didn't notice the T until I just put it on now to talk to you. It's amazing. I just see it now. How that's there. Beautiful. Okay, brother. I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for coming in again. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, sharing your light and your laughter, and we take this light, we take it light, but we're sincere and we're authentic, and we may have a laugh, but what we're sharing here is it's our truth, it's authentic, and everyone will come to their own version of their truth, and together we're good. We're all good. We're all good. Thank you, my
I
brother.
hope
Love
you
you.
I hope you give me a minute.
Cool.
Mastery takes conscious programming of our subconscious. Okay, the conscious being the masculine outer, and the subconscious being the feminine inner. So instead of consciously, okay, programming ourselves from the consciousness that's out there, use your own conscious imagination and intuition to restructure and reprogram your own subconscious. And as I like to end my videos with, I would love to do that here.
I was going to
I am
ask.
becoming. Oops, I got a battery dying too, so it's just going to be in time. I am becoming abundance, health, sovereignty, spiritual love, harmony, and how did I'd usually say it a little different way. And I am the integral, intuitive, I'll say intelligent, I'll say knowledgeable, wise, I'll say loving man and mind of God. Because we all are the mind of God if we tap into it. Co-creating abundance, sovereignty, health, love, and euphoria for all. As the receiver, which we all are as well, and the one who shares the abundant energy, frequency, radiance, vibration, currency, money, love, and word of God with the precious treasure and resources of Mother Earth, with the bankers, the keepers of humanity's wealth of treasure and secrets, and with the administrators, sharing lovingly through the medium of exchange banking system that is comfort for every child of God and project funding for projects that are beneficial to all. That's my ending. Take it away, brother. I love you.
Amen and amen. Thank you so much, brother. I love you. Love you. Thank you so much for doing this today at a short notice. And it's always a joy and fun and illuminating to be here with you. Thank you. My love to you. And we will be together again soon, I'm sure.
My gratitude and love for you too, brother. Thank you.
See you soon, brother. Ciao, ciao. Amazing. Just love that man. Beautiful, beautiful man, and full of wisdom, full of some alternative views as well, which that's what everything is about here, where it's all about um, color and flavor. That's what makes the human realm so interesting and so challenging at times. So if you've enjoyed this, I just invite you to share it. We are live on YouTube, on Telegram, and on Twitter. You can follow me at martinmcnichol.com, and you can search the commercial name and the spiritual name if you feel called. Go to Randall's YouTube channel. You can check him out on there. And until next time, from my heart to yours, the divine in me sees, honors, and loves the divine in you. Namaste. We are